Alienation combines frenetic action with a simple but fun power grind. It incorporates simple build creation elements, limited loot collection, and excellent twin-stick combat. While fun to play solo, it excels when in a group, and the fast-paced action never stops. But is it the best looter shooter ever? Have you noticed that all looter shooters take place in post-apocalyptic worlds, and you are the last hope for whichever race you are saving? Wouldn't it be awesome to be leading the invasion for once, and not having the weight of the world on your shoulders? Alienation is no different. Aliens have invaded Earth and we humans are not doing so well. On the verge of annihilation, no less. You play as James Caan in a superpowered exoskeleton, taking on the aliens in a number of locations across the world. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was invading the world, I wouldn't be setting up my bases in the harshest climates on the planet. Pripyat, which is near Chernobyl, Alaska and Nebraska. What's wrong with a nice beach summer with cocktails ideally? Let's be honest. It wouldn't be the end of the world if the aliens kept Nebraska. The game was launched in 2016 to positive reviews, which highlighted the finely tuned arcade action, brilliant loot and leveling, and absolutely spectacular pyrotechnics. Big explosions always go down well. The one downside to the game, it was, and still is, a PlayStation exclusive. Oh, and James Caan is not actually in the game. A big miss there. So how good was Alienation? The story in Alienation is forgettable at best. After a brief tutorial mission in Hawaii, my personal choice for my alien base, we're off to the icy wastes of Alaska, which starts a 3-location journey to activate radar arrays. I'm not quite sure why we were doing that, but any excuse to crack out our overpowered weapons and kick some alien ass, which is what we are here for after all. The story takes us back to some of the locations we've already been to, via a trip to Nebraska, which looks remarkably like Chernobyl. Another good reason to never go there. All of this ends up with us invading the alien mothership, killing their leaders, and escaping before the ship self-destructs. And then we do it all again. Seriously. To unlock the endgame, you have to complete the campaign a second time. Yes, the difficulty is ramped up. There are far more mini-bosses and challenges to do, which are pretty damn cool. I particularly like the boss who had recently watched Dune and brought spice worms with him, and the mini dungeons that you are teleported to. But fundamentally, it's the same again, which is really disappointing, but not uncommon. Yes, I'm looking at you Outriders. Once you have finished this repetitive power grind, you will have reached level 30, the max, which opens up the endgame, but more on that later. The lack of unique locations and missions is, to be technical, a bit crap. You can play them on higher difficulty levels with more unlocked as you level up, and to be fair, you aren't really looking at the scenery due to the frenetic action that just never stops. Albeit if you do, you will find that they look awesome and the detail is top notch. The combat in this game is awesome. There are a great variety of aliens which attack you in different ways. The mindless zombie-like mutants, the long-range snipers who telegraph their hard-hitting shots, the enforcers with their annoying shields, and the lumbering Goliaths and their devastating earthquake attacks, to name just a few. Using the right weapons or skills will take these down easily, albeit in the heat of the battle, this can be tough to get right. Your weapons sound and feel meaty. When aliens die, they explode across the screen in a gory mess. Your skills look awesome. For a top-down twin-stick shooter, this is a really good looking and sounding game. My only complaint would be that when in a group, there is so much happening on screen that it's easy to lose track of your character and end up pumping rounds into a wall. And that can be a problem, as ammo management is one of the big features of this game. Each of the characters comes with 3 weapons, a primary that is unique to each class, and a secondary and heavy weapon that are common across all classes. Ammo drops replenish the ammo of the weapons you aren't using, so to avoid running out, you do need to swap weapons on a regular basis. The game also features active reload, which is a really nice feature. Perfecting this is important, as the extra few seconds it can take to reload can be critical when you are being swarmed by aliens. Speaking of which, on occasion you are notified of an incoming horde of what appear to be angry smurfs. This is a nice feature that adds in a layer of tension to the gameplay. A horde at the wrong time can really screw you up. If you can survive this though, and I would recommend carrying a plasma shotgun just for this, you do get a nice boost of XP and resources. There are 3 classes in the game: Biospecialist, Tank and Saboteur. As mentioned, they share secondary and heavy weapon types, but have their own unique primary. The Biospecialist uses a Xeno rifle, which is essentially an assault rifle. The Tank uses energy weapons, which are essentially 2 assault rifles. And the Saboteur an SMG, which is like a burst assault rifle. Each class has 3 unique abilities, like the Tank's ability to shield the team, the Biospecialist can heal, and the Saboteur become invisible. Sadly though, all classes have the same 3 passive abilities. On top of this, by the time you hit level 30, you will be able to nearly max out every ability you have, which means that build creation is largely non-existent. Because so much of the game is weapon combat based, I found that the classes felt a little too samey for my taste. And as with much of this game, it is a looter shooter light. The same goes for your weapons. It's a huge shame that the 3 classes share so many of the same weapon types. Having more unique weapons would have helped make each class feel different and increase the replayability of the game. Secondary weapons come in the form of the plasma shotgun, revolver and a power shot, each of which are good in different scenarios, but it's hard not to carry the plasma shotgun because it is so effective against hordes. Flamethrowers, miniguns and rocket launchers make up the heavy weapons. All are good, but the rocket launcher is a great fire and forget weapon, which allows you to keep at maximum range from some of the harder enemies in the game. Finally, you can carry equipment which is made up of various grenades, mines and the boomerang, which surprisingly is a bit of a beast. And that's it, shooter looter light. Each weapon does come in the standard looter shooter variants, common up to legendary. Each weapon can be improved by re-rolling its stats in order to get the perfect god roll, each roll using resources that you obtain from salvaging unwanted weapons. Uncommon and better weapons can also have their stats boosted by fitting cores to them in a simple tree. These cores come in 4 types: power, fire rate, clip size and crit chance. Matching the core to the tree slots provides a bonus, as does using cores of the same type in adjacent slots. Epic and legendary weapons also come with special abilities that are activated when the trees are complete. And this leads to the end game, which, to be frank, is very limited. Shooter looter light. There are only really 2 activities to do. You can play the campaign missions again on higher difficulty levels to complete Unix assignments which reward resources, or you can complete the UFO mission, gain an ARC key and then complete the ARC. In this you play levels on the alien mothership where enemy difficulty and thus XP and rewards increase each level. The host of the party has the option to stop at the end of each level or risk losing the reward by pushing on to the next tougher level. The only reason to continue with this grind though is to get the perfect legendary weapon in every slot, to upgrade all of your cores to max level, which you do with the resources you collect, to level up to hero level 300 and to try and top the league tables. While there are no player numbers available for Alienation, it is clear that it still has a very healthy player base. I never struggled to find people to play with, and you can see the league tables updating constantly. Clearly, while Switzerland is a neutral country, it draws the lines at aliens taking over Nebraska. Alienation is a very solid looter shooter like game that is great fun to play with others, albeit this is a game that cries out for couch co-op. While the twin stick combat is excellent, the game lacks any real depth, and the incentive to climb hero levels and the league tables is for the raid dedicated only. Now, if all this leaves you desperate for a more in-depth looter shooter with more endgame than Deuce Bigelow, then check out this video here and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next best looter shooter ever.